Digital currencies. I get asked all the time, what is the future of money? Will we actually go into a digital currency? Central bank digital currencies will give governments the power to control how citizens spend their money. That's the disturbing admission made by Bo Li, the Deputy Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund. Perhaps the only thing more troubling than the fact that governments can do it is that Bo Li thinks it's a good idea. The IMF has been promoting central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, partly on the basis of greater financial inclusion. It seems one feature of financial inclusion is the actual programming of CBDCs so citizens getting government assistance can get that support in a targeted and precise way. Here's what Bo Li said last month at the annual meeting of the IMF and World Bank. A CBDC can allow government agencies and private sector players to program and create smart contracts to allow targeted policy functions. He went on to give examples of these functions, such as the distribution of welfare payments and food stamps. And then he said this: by programming CBDCs, the money can be precisely targeted for what kind of people can own it and for what kind of use this money can be utilized. Most people I speak to see this as a negative because they don't want government supervision on how they spend their money. But Mr. Li, he sees this as a positive and added, transaction data can be used by service providers in credit underwriting. How many coffees do I drink every day? Where is it that I buy coffee? Do I use Uber every day? Those kinds of non-traditional data can be very useful for financial service providers to give me a credit score. That sounds incredibly disturbing to me. Some might see the connection between Mr. Li's robust advocacy for CBDC's surveillance potential and the fact that he was deputy governor of the People's Bank of China. China is well known as a surveillance state. Policy analysts say China's enthusiasm for developing its own central bank digital currencies are rooted in the fact it could be used as another tool of that surveillance. In fact, when the Minneapolis Fed president took issue earlier this year with CBDC's privacy implications, he referenced China's surveillance state directly. I can see why China would do it. If they want to monitor every one of your transactions, you can do that with a central bank digital currency. But Americans should be warned. The United States is in the process of developing its own central bank digital currency. In September, the White House announced that the Treasury Department will be working with the Federal Reserve to help make the so-called digital dollar a reality. Let's give a hand to Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell for getting that done. Ultimately, CBDCs create a world where governments and central banks can not only see where citizens spend their money, but they can actually program that money to control how it is spent. Perhaps most disturbing of all is that some influential figures in the global financial system think it's in your best interest. Maybe that's why so many people are interested in gold and silver right now. Until next time.